ShopDog says, welcome back to a Pontiac video where we've got more scissors. Oh, it is brutally cold outside. It was 24 below last night. And when I came in here, this one was at 47. The one in there was at 46. It was running full time because it was supposed to be 50. So this morning I came in, kicked that guy up, and it's slowly pumping extra heat in here. You just hit a point where the boiler can only do so much, and a 70-degree delta is too much. So, or greater than a 70-degree delta. So this has been running, that guy's been running, and it's comfortable in here now. What is it, 53-ish? Yeah, 53 degrees. That's not too bad. And we got lots and lots of cookies. Okay, so they have some samples for some seat belts, and I think we should get more light in here. Yeah. Okay, so what do you got? Desert tan. No idea what that says. Something
medium
beige.
Medium beige.
Ooh, those are pretty gold, aren't they?
That's out.
Yeah, that's gold. Might want to fold this over and take a better look there. Well, it doesn't need to look like these seat belts. It just needs to match or complement the seat. Desert tan isn't terrible.
I don't think that one is too bad.
I think what we need is more light. I'm going to go get a halogen because that'll add more light.
I don't know about
Okay, I think they're coming up on a choice here. We've tried different color lights and different angles. So which one do you like, Pix?
between these two.
Hope you remember which of those were.
Yes, I do. They have little taggies on the back.
Yeah, because they only have to complement.
This one was here.
That was medium beige.
Yeah, tan looked pretty good. Okay, you want to go back to white light?
Yeah.
There.
Show the people just how different
And
those
the
actually
question
are.
is if we get slightly, depending on the gold here.
Yeah, is it going to be more green or is it going to be more red?
We saw the samples. The samples were pretty darn close. They're over in the
So,
bag.
so they'll be ever so slightly green.
You know, we should go get that sample. It's in the bag.
Yeah. Don't spend the money twice. Not when 3 minutes of work. Okay, so what do we got now?
I would think I'd go with the medium beige.
Really? You'd go with the medium beige or the whatever that tan?
Yep.
I think as long as they're the same no matter what, I don't think it matters.
And the reason I like them both, the reason to go with the medium beige over the tan, it's going to show less dirt. In the back seat, it won't make a difference, but in the front seat, it will.
Absolutely will. We just took a couple measurements in there, and here's what we're thinking seatbelt wise is some retractables up front. So this part is a foot long, and then that's the part that pulls out just like you're used to in most cars, and I think that'll work really well. You know, you just pull that across, pop it in, and everybody's happy. And then in the back, just do the non-retractables, just like they always were. Okay, he's gonna go hit the head real quick. We are going to take one last look at the console arrangement so that we know exactly how we want to do this before I order an expensive piece of plastic to cut. But, yeah, so once we've played with this a little bit, we'll show you what we're thinking here. Okay, we're in here just discussing a few things. Here is how the factory lid would look. And I've actually got it spaced on the cup holders. And you can see the bumpers. And that's where the lock would retain. Well, when we cut our new thing, I'm not going to need a lock on it. That might not be a bad spot for a pair of USB ports to be. Right here, using this hole, cup holder, because, you know, that's part of what we're doing. And then we're thinking in the plate we make, I cut a few phone size slots where you could slide your phone in there. And maybe we make some pockets across between them so the phone couldn't slide in and disappear. And then we were talking about on the back having a power port and another pair of USB ports. It would be really interesting if it would have enough room for you to be able to pull a USB-C cable or iPhone cable for the impaired people up out, and still be able to change the cable, because they don't last forever. So we're definitely talking about this and thinking this through. So maybe something like that. So having 2 USBs up in that location, the 2 cup holders, the 2 phone slots right here, and of course the MP3 input or whatever, aux input for the radio, and the USB to the radio for Android Auto or, you know, CarPlay or whatever, and a power port. You still want to have one of those because everybody has adapters. And then maybe we also lay in a connector where you can lift the panel up and get at it and change cables, and we have a cable for each phone slot. I guess it would depend on whether the slot was wide enough that you could get in there and grab the cable. And honestly, with the laser, you can design it however you bloody well want it. Okay, this idea is starting to flesh out, and it's going to hinge on the magic of magnets. So we'll explain that in a few minutes. But first thing we want to know is, does your giant phone fit? Because I don't picture anybody doing phone, because we're trying to decide, do we want these this way or this way with longer slots? Both would work. I think this way would look cooler, but you know, we'll have to draw it up in Inkscape and see which we prefer, or Visio, whatever, and really line that up. And honestly, because we have to buy so much of that material, we could probably cut a couple versions as well, depending on the trip you're on or where you're at. We want to have something so it's magnetic, so they would actually be able, for very little extra cost, to have multiple inserts to pop on that if you go down the magnet road. I think that's something we really need to explore. Okay, so knowing now that Dakota may actually have the dash done this winter, and it looks like our divorced face radio might become available this winter, the dash stuff has slowed way down until we know where some of that's going to be physically mounted. This radio may actually wind up just being a decoration, and the divorce face radio may be the actual radio. If nothing else, it's definitely going to be the camera, you know, so he can back this giant thing up without running over puppies. But we have a great solution here. So we will get some demo material. Actually, I probably have enough material just to build demonstrators. We're not going to order the fancy pretty black and gold modeled plastic until we're absolutely certain we're happy with the design. But then we can cut a couple different versions. We can have a version that you can pop in at a car show without the cup holder and the phone holders, and then another version where you pop it off. You pop this one in, it's got the cup holders, the phone slots, and all the charging ports, and it's all held on by magnets. So that's definitely where we're going to go with that. So in this car, I've just got to spend an afternoon down in that hole finishing some wiring. Diesel's got to finish clipping some wires for his radio stuff. The dash, I'm going to hold off on that until we know about the Dakota stuff and the radio. Other than that, we're getting really close to wrapping that up, getting the kick panels in, the old sill plates, not the new ones, and then I can start building an engine harness, which shouldn't be too bad with this one. The other thing I've still got to solve is, how do I want to pop the fuel tank wires in. The sender is going through the stock location, but that wire right there is my heavy gauge fuel pump wire, And I think it's going to actually go through this wall right here. I've been thinking about it for a little while, and that's probably my best solution. And that'll be pretty nice. And then, of course, we have a fuel pump relay, and the sniper will send us a trigger wire to run it, and everybody's going to be happy. I mean, literally the exact same thing I just did on the Henry, but with a much smaller connector, I think. So that's where we're at so far. Okay, fancy acrylic has been ordered. It will be a few weeks, but we ordered 8 sheets, 4 of what we think is the pattern we want, and 2 each of 2 other ones that could be fun too. It looks like Diesel is working down in the hole, having fun. Somebody's got to do it. Poor Shop Dog. He's been supervising and no one will give him any cheese. So we're going to wander over here. You can see old neighbor Jeff is still thinning old harnesses. But Shop Dog pointed out, rightly so, that he has no cheese. See, that's what he works for. And poor Pixie, she got stuck working, so that kind of slowed down the project and all the music. Diesel has been changing those white clips that he had in there with some black ones that he bought that are going to look a little nicer. And like I said, we've got materials on order, and you know, things are moving along. It's kind of nice to not be the guy laying on the floor for a change. Alright, he's getting ready to build up his negative cable. We just remembered that we've got this perfectly fine mounting stud going down through, so we're going to pop that off, and he's just going to mount it right to it. You can see where he's working. Okay, I have cleaned that up. He is getting ready to crimp his end on there.
Always put
And
the
shrink it. Yeah,
first.
heat shrink first.
Heat shrink first.
Right. Very happy with that ground cable now. So we've got a washer on both sides of the lug, so then it grounds through that bolt to right there. And then the next time it's up, we'll even throw something on it to protect it. And now he's going to throw on some wrapper, and it's going to look nice. Ollie's on a mission because Diesel's got a cracker. So I was told that that's all bundled up nice now. Doesn't even look like a bunch of snakes anymore. And there's our ground. So the very next thing we want is some phono plugs. And figuring out where exactly we want those for when the speakers are in the back. I started looking at them and didn't realize how many series there are for phono plugs. So it's going to take us a minute. Also, where do we want them? Because obviously I don't want it to fold up. So I can't just put it into that floor. So we got to work that out. But if that's the most complicated thing we got, that's nothing. Okay. Well, Shop Dog has enjoyed all the cheese. There's some beautiful bumpers for sale, already chromed, only $2,000 a bumper. You know, it's $4,000 in a drive to Oklahoma.
I might be able to negotiate a little bit.
Oh, maybe. Well, you know, you buy the pair.
Buy the pair.
All right, so tell us what we've learned.
So we got everything sorted out for the console with the cups and the lid and all of that. That's all taken care of. You and Pix wrestled with the rest of that console to get it up to the dash, and we landed on the fact that, yeah, we got to fiddle with that shifter, get it tilted over.
It's got adjustments.
Yeah, it's got to get adjusted a little bit. And then we got everything tidied up in the back. So yeah, we got a lot done.
Feeling pretty good about it right now. So, you know, and revisited the cruise control again. We're still unhappy, but you know, you gotta do some car crafting sometimes, and sometimes you have to accept the way hot rods work. So yeah, so we've got to play an adjustment. The other thing that we hadn't thought of, see the blue tape sticking through the new lens? We do not have one of those stamped tin backers for that, for lighting it up. And I don't know if this was originally lit up, but we're going to see if we can make it light up because, you know, that's a nice feature and it looks cool. So we're gonna have to make some kind of tin shield to go behind it and maybe edge light it. You know, that might be the way to do it, is make a housing that goes over it and edge light the glass. The problem with that is I don't think that's etched. I think that's just painted. And if it is, then edge lit acrylic doesn't work that way. It has to be cut in. But honestly, if it came down to that, well, I got measurements now. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll look at that and continue thinking about how we want to backlight that, because it is kind of nice. Other than that, you know, poor Pixie had to work all day. You know, that's just the reality sometimes. And ShopDog, he had a pretty good day. It's bloody cold outside. It's nice and warm in here, though. Look at that, 55 degrees. Can't argue with that. So at that point, what do we say?
Thanks for watching.
In a quick addendum, we just discovered that once you line it up right, it is edge lit. I hope this shows up on the phone how the letters just showed up in blue. I can work with that. That's edge lit acrylic.